So, yeah, we're going to be talking with Heather here about her trip to Walt Disney World in January. And I'll tell you what, it feels like January here in St. Louis today. It's cold, it stinks. Heather, where are you from? I forgot to ask you.
Las Vegas.
Oh my gosh, you don't have any of this stuff.
It's already summer here.
Oh, I wish. I wish. It's because we had like 80-degree weather. Actually, this past Saturday it was 80. And then tonight it's going to get down to 28. So,
Woo!
no
I'll
bueno.
be there next week, actually.
Here in St. Louis?
Yeah.
What are you coming here for?
A surprise visit for my brother's birthday.
Nice. What part of St. Louis do you know?
I think they live in St. Charles.
That's where I'm at. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right here in St. Charles. Perfect. It's the best part of St. Louis, I think. I mean, I'm
All
biased.
right.
Just moved out here. It's pretty sweet. There's a lot going on. A lot of stuff. So let's see. We got some folks. Lisa's here. Of course, Alfred's here. Alfred, we can count on Alfred. If Alfred wasn't here in a couple of minutes, I'd be sending out a search party. Calling the New York State. I'd be calling who's the guy from Blue Bloods? I'd be calling the commissioner, looking for him. Okay, so we will get cracking here, and yeah, this will be for this Monday. Holy cow, 1878. All right, here we go. Yeah, so Joe, I have to ask, research, like why, I always wonder, St. Louis isn't like a vacation destination. If people are coming here, I'm wondering why. Like, did they get sentenced to St. Louis? Like, you must serve 6 months in St. Louis before you go back to fun places like Vegas. Okay, here we go. Welcome to episode 1878 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Monday to you. Hope you had a wonderful Easter weekend with friends and family. I don't know if I've ever talked about this here on the podcast, but in our family we always have an Easter egg hunt with the kids, and the kids count as anybody, I guess it would be about Paige's age and younger, so mid-20s and below. They get to go out and hunt the Easter eggs. Of course, the little guys get to go like by themselves and get a little head start. But there's always what we call the money egg. Okay, so you have the regular Easter eggs, the plastic ones, colored ones that got a little candy in them and stuff like that. But there's one egg that we dye. So we also hide dyed eggs, real dyed eggs that we dye. And one of the eggs is designated as the money egg, usually gold color or something like that. And it's hidden in a particularly hard place to find. But yeah, I mean, tears have been shed over the years over the money egg because it's like worth $5 from Pam's mom. So it's a big deal. So what I'm saying is I hope that if you had an Easter egg hunt this past weekend, you found your money egg. And if you haven't ever done that, if you're a parent, try it sometime. It's drama. It's instant drama because only one person finds the money egg and everybody else wants to kick the person who finds the money egg. And I mean, is that the spirit of Easter? It may be, it may not. Anyway, hope you had a great weekend. Let's get into why you're here. We're going to talk about a great trip last January with listener Heather, who I'm so jealous she's out in Las Vegas, Nevada. Heather, what's going on?
Hey, feeling pretty good. Already feeling the effects of summertime. People are starting to travel again, so Vegas is opening back up, and it's nice.
Right. Nice. I've been to Vegas once. We drove out to Yosemite, and we stopped in Vegas for like 3 nights. Now, from somebody from St. Louis, jaw drop, right? I mean, it was crazy, like so much neon. I just loved, because I'm not even a gambler. Like, we have casino. I was going to tell you, we have a casino in St. Charles. You could care less probably, because you're coming this way.
I don't gamble.
Okay, there you go. I don't either. Well, I mean, like every once in a while we'll have like a family thing, and I'll go and once I drop my $20, I'm out. It's just like, I figure it's like going to the movies, $20. I'm not doing more than that. And if I win, like if I put a 20 in and like I'm up $5, boom, I cash out, I get $5. I'm like, I got $5 to come here. Anyhow, Vegas, though, for somebody that's from the Midwest who has never seen anything, I couldn't believe it. Like, just, it was constant sound and just all the neon. It's like Hollywood Boulevard on Disney's Hollywood Studios at night on steroids. I loved it for a little bit.
It's overwhelming. It's meant to be that way, actually.
I was glad to leave and head out to Yosemite, where there were no neon, no sound, like bears and stuff. So that was pretty fun. All right, so let's hop into your trip report. Before we do that, what's your background? Why do you like Disney? Like, what's your backstory?
Ooh, so my home park is Disneyland because I grew up here on the West Coast. And I just have, my first trip to Disneyland was at 18 days old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my mom has a picture of, actually, that was back in the days when the face or the characters could hold babies. And so my mom has a picture of Tigger holding me when I was 18 days old. So I just kind of grew up with Disney.
It's so funny because that sounds so harrowing now that I think about it, like Tigger holding a baby. Not a day
Yeah,
like this.
she was taking a chance.
So how much do you remember from that trip when you were 18 days old? No, just kidding. No, it is funny
Uh,
though, because of geography kind of draws you into like where your home park is and where those memories are from being a kid.
oh yeah, and my parents they divorced when I was real young, so whenever I visited my dad, that's what we did. So I have very good memories of that being the family wholesome like place. And then I just became a real big freak about it, and now I just love everything about Disney. And going to Disney World was like I kind of poo-pooed it for a long time. And then I was like, you know what? I'll just give it a try. And then the more research I did, and your podcast actually helped me a lot with that, with my first trip in 2018. And then I was like, oh, now I just got to bring my kid. I got to bring my boyfriend. I got to bring everybody, and so that they can see how awesome Disney World is in comparison.
So we're going to talk about your trip in January because I think that's going to be really useful for folks that are going
Oh yeah,
down. Everything has changed since, before the parks closed this time last year.
yeah.
As far as trip planning, but tell me about that. I'm always curious about somebody that comes from Disneyland, feels comfortable with it, grew up with it. Then you go to Walt Disney World because it is, it's a city. I mean, that's all it is. You got all these hotels, you got all these theme parks, you got all this green space. What do you remember from being a Disney fan, that was based out of Disneyland, and you had such a compact, tight, but historical experience? You had the history there. You didn't have that at World. What were your initial feelings when you went down there? Were you overwhelmed? I mean, did it feel comfortable? What'd you think?
Well, I felt comfortable because it was the same enough to the where I like knew where I was as far as like the map layout. It's very similar, and a lot of things are very similar, just bigger.
Mhm.
So
Right.
like I felt comfortable immediately. I was like, oh, I had my bearings, but just the vastness of it all was astonishing. I was like, oh, sure, they got a few parks. Oh my gosh, I had no idea just how big it really was.
Because I'm a huge transportation nut. I like riding the boats. The Skyliner.
Oh
You know,
yeah,
monorail. I like getting around. Even the buses are, and because we don't take public transportation where I live. So yeah, I think that's one of the pluses of being at Disney. Is like you are literally in this bubble, and I mean you can go hotel to hotel, hotel to park. The water parks. You can go play putt putt. It's pretty cool. Now let me ask you about that one more thing about that first trip, and then we'll hop into this one.
yeah.
Where'd you stay, and what did you think of the hotel? Because I'm always curious about that first. I think you kind of fall in love with like the first hotel you stay at Walt Disney World. At least it has a special place in your heart for most people.
The first trip that I did was a split stay, and we did one of the value resorts. It was a All Star Sports,
Mhm.
and then the last couple days was at club level at the Poly.
Ooh, okay.
So it was
So could you have gone any further? Like,
yeah.
one end of the spectrum. Here's the other. Yes. Okay. Perfect.
Very. I mean, I would love to stay at the Polynesian again. Unfortunately, the regular hotel part wasn't open this last time when we went. So we were gonna do Pop Century, but they when they released those discounts, they I was like, well, my I realized that the water parks weren't gonna be open, and my son's a big swimmer, and that was kind of part of our off days that we were planning on. And that was a big disappointment. So I was like, maybe we can upgrade to Art of Animation, which has like a slightly cooler pool, the
Mhm.
big blue pool. So
Right.
we opted to do that, and it was a little chilly on the one night that we actually got to do it before they closed for refurbishment, but we did enjoy it. I was kind of bummed that they don't have the music playing underwater though.
Yeah. I've always wondered if that was a real thing. I know it is a real thing, but I don't know. I don't go underwater that much anymore. I'm old.
I went underwater specifically to hear it, and I heard nothing. So
So funny. Bring your own iPods. And that's probably
yeah,
not. Yeah. Okay. So we're hopping into this trip that you took this past January. Now you were down in January at Art of Animation. You guys stayed in the Little Mermaid rooms.
yeah,
We were talking about this before we started recording. You were there for a full 2 weeks, which I
2
find,
weeks, 15 days.
I find
Yeah.
totally awesome. but to be at an Art of Animation for that long, the value hotels are great. They're fine, but there's a lot of energy at these hotels. In 2 weeks there, I'd be like, whoo, I know all the background loops. I know this. So what was it like being there that long at Art of Animation? What did you feel like it was fine?
After a few days, that was just like our new home.
Right.
Um, we had developed a storyline because you pass Scar because you have to walk through the Lion King area. So we'd say hello to Scar every day. We say goodbye to Zazu, and or, of course, pay homage to Ursula every
Right.
day. Yeah, but it we were on the backside, like we couldn't be further away from anything. We were on the very tippy end, and it was actually very quiet, other than the creak and groan of the Skyliner going by at night. That's really all we heard. We were far away from the hustle and bustle.
I know right where your room was because when I run at Pop Century, I turn around that parking lot in the Little
Yep.
Mermaid rooms, and they're facing that way. Yeah, I know exactly where you were staying. So now let me ask you this for our listeners: okay, who was your crew? Who did you guys who did you travel with?
So it was me, my partner Frank, and then my teenage son Gumby.
All right. Okay, so let's hop into, man, you had the gift of time. That's what everybody wants. Everybody's like, I can do 2 weeks at Art of Animation. Let's do it. I mean, everybody wants to be there that long. And of course, we have like 30 minutes, so we're not going to get into everything. So looking back on the trip, what were the highlights? You went to the theme parks. Like what stood out there because you had so much time? You probably got to go to every park multiple times.
We did. We got to do every park at least twice. A couple of the parks 3 times. We didn't choose for the park hopping because they had just brought that back. And it was, you have to go after 2 p.m. For us, it seemed kind of like a waste of park hours to leave and chance it on another park. So we opted to stay in each park all day long. Most of them were rope drop to close.
Wow.
We focused a lot of dining and kind of taking our time because we had time. So we made a plan. We wanted to hit every single thing that was open at least one time, and we just checked them off. And if we missed, it's tough to be a bug one day. The next Animal Kingdom day, we're like, oh, we have to hit that because we have the time, and that's kind of how we planned.
Okay, so let's talk about each of the parks quickly. So, let's obviously start with the Magic Kingdom. You guys are Disneyland fans. You've been there before, but Magic Kingdom, was there any particular ride that your son enjoys, or maybe that you have as a favorite, or was there any kind of magical moment that happened in the park?
I don't know about any like specifically magic moments. We didn't get very much extra pixie dust on this trip, but my son is severely autistic, and he has a very set routine, and he has certain things that, like, you have to ride Haunted Mansion, but right after Haunted Mansion you go to Splash Mountain. Well, in Disneyland they're right next to each other.
Yeah.
In Disney World there's a little trek in between. But once he got the lay of the land, those are his 2 can't miss rides, and we did them both multiple times. We did realize that we are all too big to fit all 3 of us in a doom buggy comfortably.
I get that.
But yeah,
Yeah.
Splash Mountain and Haunted Mansion are our 2 big ones that we can't miss.
Awesome. So you were down there. What would have been marathon weekend? By the way, I'm so jealous because I
Yeah.
would usually be there the same time you were there and wasn't there this year. So over at Epcot, what was that like? I mean, if your son likes that, because to me, Epcot, as far as the theme park, is very unstructured, especially World Showcase. So how was that for him? And I mean, does he have any favorite attractions over there?
Nemo. He
Nice.
loves Nemo. And it's cute. I could do without it, but we also rode Nemo several times. But Epcot is my personal favorite park out of all the Disney parks I've been to. And so we spent a lot of time we he focused more on the snacks in that park because there's just a few rides, but I got to have a beer in every country, and he got a Mickey bar.
Nice.
It's a good trade-off.
I'm trying to think, but the Festival of the Arts was going on during this time.
Yes.
So I mean, was this something that maybe he enjoyed? You enjoyed? Because I
Yeah.
love this festival. I was so mad that I missed it this year because good snacks, really good, kind of pretty looking snacks, but they taste great. And then, I'm not like a big artistic person, but I love seeing, the chalk on the sidewalk, looks three-dimensional, how to do that, just walking by the people riding the bikes, making the spinning paint, splattered paint. It's a bonus. Like it's just something to look at as you're going through the park on a normal day. So you guys enjoy that too?
Oh yeah, we did the Figment scavenger hunt where
Oh,
you get the artist palette and then you find the piece of artwork in each country and then put it on there and trade it in for your prize at the end. We participated in that, and then also we were a big fan of the classic paintings that you could pose
yeah.
inside of. So we got a good picture of us crossing the Delaware.
Yeah, those are so fun. If people don't know what they are, it's like they're almost like life size, not life size, but they're very large frames, and they
Yeah,
have you actually step into them. So there's like, they're three-dimensional. So you go into basically kind of like a box. You go in behind the frame and it's got all the, supplementary stuff around the outside. And so like if you're gonna do American Gothic, right? The family, like the couple that like the guy's got the pitchfork,
yeah,
the kind of farm people, like everything is there except you stick your head in and then boom, you're an American Gothic. So yeah,
yeah.
it's a lot of fun, and it's one of those things like, right, I mean, you're going from, say, Italy to Japan, and there's a couple there to swing by, get a picture, and move on.
Yeah, my boyfriend was getting sick of it. I was like, "Oh, there's another one. We have to stop." But now, we look back on it. And we have a bunch of really cool and ridiculous pictures.
Those are awesome. Yeah, but the more ridiculous the better. It's vacation.
Oh
That's
yeah.
what. Now you mentioned snacks. Was it just Mickey bars for your son, or does he like
Um.
any other snacks around Epcot?
Well, I thought for sure he would like because I really wanted to try the school bread, and that was a big hit with my partner and myself. But my son wanted nothing to do with it. It was mostly Mickey bars and popcorn. And fun fact, I didn't know this. I know that you can refill your popcorn buckets, which we invested in, just $2, no tax. But at the Canada Pavilion, they have the maple popcorn, and that
Yes.
also is included with that $2 refill. And I was like, "Oh, cool! The flavor popcorn counts too." And we ate a lot of that.
See, I've never had the maple popcorn yet
It's
in
so
Canada.
good.
I've had there's flavored popcorn over by Imagination Pavilion. There's like a cheddar and the chives or something.
Mhm.
I tore that up the whole airplane ride home. I was bringing it home from Mallory, but I carried it on. I had it on my tray the whole flight. And like, I'll just have a couple bites. I'll have a couple. By the time we landed in St. Louis, like the thing was three-quarters of the way empty. I was like, I must have spilled this or something. I don't know where. No, I ate it all. But yeah, you're right. I mean, the only problem with it, if you buy the popcorn bucket, you get those free refills or $2 cheap refills. But you got to carry that sucker around all the time. So you got like an alien hanging from
Got a
you or a
strap.
clown. Okay, yeah, I know, but I don't like stuff hanging on me. But yeah, that's the price you pay. It's fun. You're constantly eating popcorn, so I mean, it can't be that bad. All right, so let's hop over to the studios now. Here's the question we got to ask. Right? Are you guys Star Wars fans? You guys going to go?
Absolutely.
Right?
You're seeing Mickey behind me, but the other wall is all Star Wars.
That's
We're
what I
big
like to
Star
hear.
Wars fans.
What I like to hear. So, did you guys do Rise?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
We got
no
to ride
spoilers.
Rise twice.
Okay, no spoilers, but I mean, it met the expectations. And did you have any trouble like getting the boarding group? That's what everybody always wants to know.
Yes. Yes. So each we had 2 Hollywood Studios days, and each day I woke up at 7 a.m. or slightly before to try to get those boarding passes from the hotel, and within seconds it was gone at
Mhm.
7 a.m. So we had already made a plans to be at Hollywood Studios that day. So I was like, well, we'll go and we'll try for the 1 o'clock. And both days I got 1 o'clock, or maybe it was 2 o'clock, whichever time it was, we got it immediately within a minute, both days that we were there. And we were able to ride both days.
That's great to that gives people hope. If we don't get it at 7 o'clock, kind of the backup plan can come through. Now, do you remember like I probably don't remember what boarding group you had, but I mean, how long did you have to wait after 2 o'clock until you boarded both times?
Oh, it was in the evening, so like 4 and 5 p.m. ish.
That's not bad. Not bad at
Yeah.
all. So
It,
what about like Mickey and Minnie's or Toy Story Land? I mean, outside of Galaxies, I'm sure you enjoy that as a huge Star Wars fan, and we talk about that quite often. But was there any kind of sleeper hits at the studios, or did you guys dine there? Any snacks over
yeah.
there?
We did sci-fi, and we built a droid,
Nice.
and we did ogas.
I love it.
We were able to get reservations for Oga's. Oga's was so cool. We of course had to sample every single weirdo drink they have. I recommend the I don't remember what it was, the Bespin Fizz or something, that the one that makes your mouth numb. Go with that
See,
one.
I've only been there once, and it was because I was walking through Galaxy's Edge. This was like it was the fall when it opened. And I was down there for something, a race or something, and they were actually standing outside of Oga's like, "You want to come in?" I'm like, "Yeah, are you kidding me? Like, I thought you had to, give your left arm to get in this place." Like,
Yeah.
let's go. And I mean, it was like a Tuesday at like 9:30 in the morning or something. And I'm like, so you go in, you got to order a drink, right? And I'm like, it's like Tuesday at 9:30 in the morning. How am I ordering a drink? But I had to buy one because I was in the whole spirit of the thing. And I got some because I don't know. I'm not a big drinker. So I got the one that had tequila in it. I think it was like a fuzzy tauntaun or something. It had
That's the
steam
one.
coming out of it. Yeah, it had steam coming out of it or something. Who knows? But the whole thing it was like it's small, but it has to be small. That's what I enjoyed about it. It's kind of like Trader Sam's at the Polynesian.
Yes.
You can't make this on a bigger scale because then it loses how cool it is. Cause like the staff got into it. They started doing some kind of cheer and then everybody kind of joined in. DJ Rex is over there spinning the tunes and his
Oh,
going up and down. That place is,
awesome.
I mean, for a Star Wars fan, it's like, oh my God, I'm in the cantina. It is that cool. I love it. It's so cool.
We really loved it. We got like the weird snack platter. All the food is like really otherworldly. But it was all really good. It tasted great. They were in character. Like at one point something broke and they had to like beat on it in the middle of the bar. And then they were shouting, and then all of a sudden the power came back on, and everybody was very celebratory,
That is so funny because that same thing broke when I was there, and they did
Oh,
that
weird.
I cheered. It was that's what I was talking about. The whole thing broke. That they got to get that thing fixed. Somebody should look
They
at that.
do. They do.
So funny because I totally forgot about that. So you said that this is exactly what happened. Okay, so I want to make sure we get all set. So you go over to what about Animal Kingdom? Because that park is big.
It
Lots
is.
to see, lots to do, and lots of good dining over there. Lots of great quick service. So what'd you guys do over there?
So we didn't do any, we just did Flame Tree Barbecue. And unfortunately, I wanted to really try the Nomad Lounge, but unfortunately, we didn't squeeze that in. But we made sure that we rode the safari a few times. So we wanted to ride it first thing in the morning and then at night as well, like one of the last rides of the day, because different animals come out. That was a tip that somebody told me, and it was correct. We saw different animals each time that were a lot more active, depending on when you rode.
So you guys ride any of the say like a dinosaur or Expedition Everest? You guys do any more of the kind of e-ticket kind of?
Yeah, we rode every single thing.
Oh, you did? Okay, so
Yeah. So Expedition Everest. I was concerned that my son might chicken out, but he thought it was a hoot. Um, Unfortunately, zipping by the Disco Yeti, um, my boyfriend was like, "Where was it?" And I was like, "You didn't see that giant thing?" Apparently, we whooshed by so fast he didn't even notice it.
oh, that's interesting because you stop
Yeah.
right before you stop and they kind of draw your attention. Well, I guess that's a
Well,
shadow,
that's
right?
the
That's a shadow.
shadow.
Yeah,
And
then you
then when you
see
actually
what,
see the
yeah,
Yeti, he
that's right.
missed it.
Yeah, that's right.
Totally missed it.
He's pretty big, but he is kind of camouflaged. He's like the color of the mountain, kind of. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'll stick up for your boyfriend. He's not hard to miss. I mean, I got to say, like the second time, you better not miss him. I mean, he's big. He doesn't do much, but he's
He
big.
saw him the second time.
I was gonna say, yeah, he's there. It's really hard to miss. Okay, so over to Animal Kingdom though, did you guys take in any of the animal exhibits? I would think that'd be something
Yes.
besides this far. Did you guys? Because I went for years without doing the Maharaja Jungle Track or anything like that, and I went through it like a couple years ago, and I'm like, "God, why'd I miss this for 10 years? It's awesome."
So my boyfriend is a history and anthropology double major, and so part of his schoolwork has been watching zoo animals. So we actually did the Gorilla Falls Trail, I think is what it's called. We did that twice because he wanted to look at the gorillas so much, and I had to coax him away. I was like, "We can't spend 2 hours on these gorillas, hun." But they they were out celebrating. Gosh, it was a birthday of some sort of monkey. They had a birthday cake out for it, and then when we went to the gorillas, like the whole family of gorillas hangs out. There's like and they have a person there explaining to you like, "Oh, this is baby Grace. She's only 1 years old," and we got to see the whole gorilla family like interacting, which was really cool.
That is really okay. So let me ask you this, because you guys were going around these theme parks. You got, so many days in the parks, which everybody would love to have. Now, you also mentioned that you use the DAS system. So
Yes,
any, nothing real deep, but I mean,
right.
any tips for somebody that's thinking, you know what, I'm in a similar situation. I've never been, and I want my family to have the best experience. My child, this might be something that helps them out. So walk us through just briefly how it worked and your practical experience with it.
So the DAS system at Disney World is slightly different than Disneyland. But my suggestion would be if you have somebody traveling with you that has different needs. For us, it's because my son can get overstimulated and he also doesn't understand personal space. So social distancing has helped a great deal with that. But he so you know, my advice would be to go to the city hall or one of the guest services and just tell them what your concerns are, and then they will lead you to their solutions that they have for you. So
So
DA,
oh,
yes,
sorry. Like what were the solutions they came up with you? I mean, like
so,
you said, I mean, I think the physical distancing thing that's in place right now is wonderful for everybody, right? I
yeah,
mean, it's very concrete at this point. It's like stand on this dot. When the dot in front of you opens up, move to that dot, and I would think that helps not only somebody that's, having trouble picking up on these kind of, social cues, but also just for everybody, like I know, hey, there's an open dot. I move up, because a lot of times I'm not paying attention. I'll be on my phone, I'll be riding up on somebody in line. You don't mean to. Yeah.
right. For us, we didn't have to use it very much. So we if a line moves kind of at a decent clip, it doesn't matter how long it is, as long as it moves,
Mhm.
my son will be fine. But some lines where it's very stagnant and you're kind of squished in and like the switchbacks, he doesn't do so well with those. He starts trying to climb or laying down on the floor or touching people. And so to avoid that, we ask if we can wait in a different location.
Cool. So,
And so that's what we do.
and that works out well. I mean, it'll kind of let you know when you're like, let's say, maybe come back in 20 minutes and then
They
you,
give you a return time a lot for the exact standby time. So if the standby time is 2 hours, they'll say you can come back in 2 hours.
nice. It's a good solution because I think everybody, even for, the whole thing, I think that I get it. I taught elementary school for 17 years and I taught, twice exceptional, gifted, and, I've had all kinds of students and, we all have something, we all learn differently. I have my, ticks and everything that get me going. And the thing is that everybody, I think at Walt Disney World, especially, everybody's looking for fairness, right? I mean, everybody's like, oh my gosh, well, I got to make sure it's fair. And I mean, to me, that is a great solution because nobody's coming out ahead. Nobody's
Right.
gaining the system, but you know what? You are getting needs, your son is getting to have a positive experience. And if he's miserable, everybody else in that queue is not going to be super happy either. It's a great solution and nobody's cutting corners. I think that's a great solution.
Yeah. Disney has the reason why we also love and I continue to go back to Disney is that they are dedicated to being accessible to everyone of every kind of ability and they do what they can. And it, yeah, we felt uh, really included, and he was so happy. And then they also we didn't have to utilize it, but they did. I asked where all the like the baby
Mhm.
centers are because they have like that's a quiet area that can be utilized by anybody, not just babies. People with autism that might be too overstimulated. That's a nice quiet place where you can just chill for a minute.
And you know what? Those places are really awesome. I remember going in those when Mallory was little with Pam. Just, I went in real quick and they are. I mean, like we're because we're always there in like the dead of summer. They're ice cold air conditioning. They're quiet. They usually have comfortable chairs. I'm like, oh my God. Like I'm gonna burn my annual pass sitting in a baby station or something because like I just want to get out of the heat. It's so hot here. It's so humid. It was just they're wonderful. The one, the Magic Kingdom's right there, kind of next to the restrooms, by Casey's. Yeah, I just remember we use that one quite a bit. Okay, so you mentioned dining. You guys went to
Yes,
sci-fi. Now, I want to
we
talk about sci-fi for a second because I'm dying
okay.
to go. I'm dying to go to sci-fi again. I haven't been there in years. This place for your son, though, I mean, it's pretty stimulating, but it's also kind of calming in a way too because it's dark. But they're playing the trailers up front. You're in a car. I mean, I love that place. How'd it work out for you guys?
We loved it, and because of autism, we don't generally go to regular movie theaters because he's loud and has weird mannerisms. So to avoid that, we usually go to the drive-in. That's how we see movies, like newer movies. So he's kind of used to that, and it was really enjoyable. We liked it. It was my second time there. I kind of wanted to show them. It had the vibe of uh I don't know, kind of Blue Bayou-esque. I don't know. It was it's always nighttime in there.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, it is because it is dark. I mean, I go in there, it's cool, it's dark, especially in the summer. You go in there like in the summer at 5 o'clock for dinner and it's still bright outside, it's hot. You go in, you're like, oh God, I could fall asleep right now. Especially if you have like a cheeseburger and fries, you're like, okay, just wake me up when the park closes. I'll be here. I will say though, yeah, it's interesting because you guys go to the drive-ins. Like I've never been to a drive-in in my entire life. Because we really don't have them here in St. Louis.
They're not everywhere. I'm thankful that the one in Las Vegas is still in existence. It's really cool.
Yeah, you're super lucky because I know we had one when I was a kid because it was probably about 15 minutes from my house growing up. And when they would show the movie, they had like a tower and like a marquee, that said like what the shows were. My parents never took me there. We never did much when I was a kid. This is why I love doing the Disney thing because we didn't go on vacations and stuff and we didn't go to the movies. But the thing was, like, I just remember like they had a big tower and like when the movie was showing, they had a big red ball at the top of the tower and it would flash like now showing. So yeah, I missed all that. So maybe that's why I like sci-fi so much because it's an experience. It's not just the food. It's like going into some kind of for me, it's a very foreign environment. I've never been there,
Yeah. I mean, you go to that one for the experience. The food is okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not terrible, but you go to sit in the car and to watch the movie while you eat. That's what it's all about.
Right. Okay. So what about maybe a couple other dining experiences maybe you had?
Ooh, so we did Be Our Guest.
Nice.
We did Skipper Canteen. We did the one in the Mexico Pavilion
love that.
Yeah. That was really good food. We were really blown away with some of our choices. We did Beer Garden. And
you are totally hitting like my top 10 list right here because I love Beer Garden and I love San Angelo Inn and we eat the same places. This is good stuff.
I ate a grasshopper at the San Angelo Inn. They brought out a shot of mezcal and it came with a slice of orange and some grasshoppers or crickets maybe.
I've heard they serve grasshoppers at the Seattle Mariners baseball stadium, but I'm not eating. Hey, I'll try new things on vacation. No thanks. I'll pass on the grasshopper because we have them in the backyard. Like if I want to get one, I'll just go.
Well, I mean, it's not. It's been doctored in such a way. It was like dried and had some sort of flavoring to it. Maybe I don't know. Yeah. It was just kind of crunchy. Tasted like straw.
Yeah. Okay. You're not selling me on it. It's like straw. I'm still not.
But I did it. I did it in Epcot.
That's true. Yeah. You need a t-shirt. I went to Epcot. I ate a grasshopper. Tasted like straw. There you go. Perfect. Okay. So what I'm seeing though in all of your dining, and I think this is super important for people that are listening that maybe haven't been that often, is that almost all of your dining is not only just a meal. Like if you go to Chefs de France in Epcot, that's basically, it's a restaurant and you're there for the food. It kind of feels like it may be like a Parisian restaurant. I don't know. I've never been to Paris. But when you go to Beer Garden, you have like a oompa band and it's like you're sitting in the middle of a village and like a big festival going on. You go in San Angelo Inn, there's a smoking, pyramid with like a volcano behind it. There's boats going by. It's an experience. Sci-fi, you got the movies, you're in a car, experience. Be Our Guest, you're eating in the movie. I mean, is it like a goal of yours? Do you look for those places where it's not just a meal, it's like the environment and the whole overall experience?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, where I live, there's lots and lots of dining options, tons of stuff. We have a rainforest cafe here, so none of that was really speaking to me. So I want to do things that are just like Disney exclusive, things that I can't get anywhere else. And so that's why that really influenced my choices this time.
That's totally my rule on vacation is if you can get it at home, you don't eat it on vacation.
Right.
It's because, you're there and that'd be more of a challenge for you, right? I mean, everything's new for us, Missouri, but I mean, yeah, you guys have all the cool stuff in Vegas, I'm sure. So Very interesting. So we have about 5 minutes left now. What I want to jump into is looking back on this trip. You guys had so long. Was there
Yeah.
stuff that was kind of a sleeper hit that was outside of the theme parks, or something even inside the theme parks that surprised you? You didn't have on the itinerary, but you really enjoyed it, something like that?
Um, Homecoming was
Oh,
awesome.
yes.
Art Smith was there when we were there. And so he came out and was greeting every guest. So we were kind of awestruck with that. So that was a happy surprise that we got to meet Art Smith. Um, and the green beer in Pandora,
Nice.
that stuff's really good. And I was really actually blown away with their my son lost his beloved stuffed animal, is a little seal, and he lost it at Hollywood Studios, and we could not like remember where the last time we saw it. We thought maybe we left it on the Skyliner. They have an extremely organized lost and found system, and the cast member we spoke to on the Skyliner was like, just hit up the it's in your app, go to Lost and Found, write a report of what you lost and where you think you might have lost it. And they sent me an email the next day that they found it, and we went and picked him up. So we were able to get our little grubby, dirty, well-loved stuffed seal. We got him back the next day, and that really saved our trip. We were really impressed with how organized that was.
I've heard that time and time again. I've lost like sunglasses, right? And I'm just like, it's not worth the effort. Because I've learned I lose sunglasses all the time. So I get like the $5 ones at Walgreens,
Right,
$10.
the cheap ones.
Yeah. Because I'm like, I'll have 3 pair every summer. Because I drive a Jeep, they fly, oh, there they go. Because they hit a bump, they're gone. So I know better, but I've always heard that about the lost and found, that they're really, really good about getting things back to people. I mean, it's amazing. Because can you imagine how many things are lost in a day at Walt Disney World? It's got to be. Luckily you had a very specific item.
Yes.
It's a seal and it is grubby, but it's love.
Yeah.
And it was at the studios. That's now. Did you guys actually go over there? Did they deliver it to you? How'd that work?
So what they do is they have a general hub at you could either go pick it up at the Lost and Found where you lost it, and then after 2 days it will get shipped to the hub, which is at Disney Springs. So that's where they had I was like, just send him to Disney Springs and we'll go pick him up there. So that like the care that they took for that dirty little stuffed animal was really unexpected and very nice, because he's special to us.
Absolutely. You know what I'm thinking too? This is absolutely the next Pixar short, right? The bear, the seal that just lost in the studios. Oh, life, and he's like, oh no, I'm going to Lost and Found. I'm never going to get. And then happy ending, and here's your feature movie, right there.
Yeah.
They need to do that. That's that'll work. Okay, so a couple more minutes left. So somebody that's planning a trip like this, how did you get everybody psyched up and have the expectations reasonable, as to what we're going to do? January, it's obviously probably a little bit more chilly than in Vegas in January. How did you get everybody ready so that you had success when you hit Florida before you even left home?
Well, I talk about Disney nonstop pretty much anyway. I'm always planning a trip. So next year we're going on a cruise. But so I'm always talking their ears off about, well, these are the things that we're going to do. And thankfully I'm so into it, they trust me. And they're just like, well, you could do whatever you want. And I know the must do's for them. And so my boyfriend is very big into Star Wars. So we definitely planned a lot of time in Galaxy's Edge. And my son, of course, has to do Splash Mountain and Haunted Mansion multiple times. So those were given. And then everything else, they just kind of trusted me. We do watch a lot of YouTube videos. That helps my son too with what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
And so we watch a lot of ride throughs, and he does that all the time. I think when he's missing the parks too. So he'll just sit in his room watching YouTube videos of, Splash Mountain over and over again. And so, yeah, that's how we kind of got, I got them psyched for it.
And that's a great way. The thing is, if you're a Disney fan and your family appreciates you, or at least let's say some cases they tolerate you,
Right.
you don't have to have I know some people sit down, they have it's Disney night, man. We're having this recipe from Le Cellier for dinner, and then we're going to watch Lady and the Tramp, what I mean?
Oh.
Hey, that's awesome. That's not my family. What we do is,
yeah, they would not let me do that.
But it's casual, right? I'm taking Mallory to cheerleading earlier tonight, and She's like, oh man, I miss being on the ships. I miss the cruise. Like, because I don't know how we got talking about an elevator somewhere, but she's like, you know what I miss is that elevator on the ship where you go up and down and you see the characters, as you go through the main the midship elevators on the Fantasy and the Dream, you see, like Buzz Lightyear will be flying and Woody's like a parachute, he's coming down, and you're going past them because they're in the tunnel, and so you see them, all these characters. And she, it's just randomly we're talking about that. Yeah, the ships, nobody's been on them for a year. I wonder what they're doing like right now. Like, where's the Fantasy sitting right now? Where's the Wonder? So we're talking about that. So it's always like a casual thing. We're going down for cheerleading in a few weeks, and talking about, we got to do this at the Magic Kingdom. Coronado Springs, want to get in the pool, and it's not. I don't think it's like a structured thing. It's just, and like you said, Disney fans, we just like talking about it, casually in the car, at dinner, whatever. And I think that's fun for everybody. And it also gets everybody pumped up for that trip.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And the food.
Yeah.
The food. I just keep telling them like, oh, but we're going to eat all the best things. And they're like, all right, you have our attention.
Now you had me going with Homecoming and Chef Art Smith.
Oh, so good.
Can you please autograph my Hallelujah biscuit here at the brunch? Okay.
That's what I had.
Oh my God.
It was delightful.
Oh man, I tore that thing. I destroyed it. The waiter was like, I haven't seen a lot of people finish that whole plate. I was like, challenge accepted. And I did. I think
we didn't eat for the rest of the day. Like, we had brunch and we were just like, I don't even know if I can eat anymore.
It's a good kind of pain. It's a good kind of pain. That's what I always say. Okay. Last thing, you mentioned you're going to go to cruise. Star Wars cruise? What is it?
We're doing a Castaway Cay Bahamian 6-night cruise on the Wonder next year.
Oh yes, you'll have the Aqua Dunk on your ship, and you'll have, so it's going to be your first Disney cruise?
Yes, I've been on a regular cruise before, never Disney, so we're really excited to see the differences.
Oh, you're going to be hooked. You be careful, because I'm telling you, you think Walt Disney World sucks you in. There's nothing, because you mentioned that your son was watching all the YouTube videos because he misses it, right? We all do that. But what I'm missing, and I miss more than anything, of the Disney Cruise Line ships. They are amazing. And if you're a Disney fan, I mean, just like you said, like an elevator ride, right? Midship elevators. And you see all this stuff. You see hidden Mickeys everywhere in the ship. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited for you, because you are going to have, World is amazing. I'm not trying to put down World, because I love Walt Disney World. I'm telling you, the cruise ships will get better. You're going to, in my opinion, because you get to go see real stuff. Castaway is amazing. Oh my gosh. You're going to have a great time. Good call.
We're real excited for that one.
All right. Well, hey, we're going to get out of here because we're just about out of time, but I sure appreciate the time, Heather. And
thanks for having me.
Hey, when you get back from that cruise, we're gonna have to talk about that, because I love first experiences on Disney. I'm telling you, man, it's an expensive addiction, though. They're not cheap.
Yeah.
That's why we work so hard, right? That's why we work.
That's right.
Yeah. All right.
I'm working for my vacation.
Absolutely. I appreciate your time. You have a good Monday. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
All right. Don't forget, today's show brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. Check them out today. Speaking of Disney cruises, if you book with the Magic for Less, we have onboard credits, spend just like cash. And we'll take great care of you. We'll take care of all the payments and waiting on the phone with Disney Cruise Line, all that stuff that you don't want to do. We make it super simple. Same thing for Walt Disney World, Adventures by Disney, and even Disneyland when the time comes. I just ask you to drop by themagicforless.com today. Check out all the great specials. And while you're there, fill out that free, no obligation quote form, and we'll take great care of you. Mention the show as well on the quote form. We'll it'll come right to me. So check them out today over at themagicforless.com. Also, please use our Amazon affiliate link, beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. That's a free way to support the show. Sure appreciate that. And a huge shout out to our patrons. Some of them are watching live in the chat right now. You guys are allowing us to do 4 shows a week on the feed, plus a live show every Sunday night. It's because of you and your support. Thank you so much for that. If you'd like some information on becoming a patron yourself, just visit patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. Speaking of that live show, we get together every Sunday night, 7:00 Eastern, 6:00 Central for an hour. It's myself and Scott, #ScottyG. We talk about the Disney news of the week. We go through all that stuff, and then we open the phone lines and talk about anything that's on your mind. And it's a quick hour. We have a fun time because there's many, many voices, many thoughts, many opinions. It's all about you. So join us this Sunday night, 7:00 Eastern, 6:00 Central. We're both on Facebook and YouTube for those shows. Give us a follow on the social media, Instagram and Twitter @BeOurGuestMike and @BeOurGuestPod. And of course, subscribe and like us on YouTube and Facebook. One last favor, if you don't mind, if you're still here with us, I'd sure appreciate it. We would love to have some more reviews on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your favorite shows. We have been on the air for 13 years now. And what's happening is we have hundreds and hundreds of reviews and ratings on Apple Podcasts. But after a while, they start to go away because we've been around so long. So if you wouldn't mind, take a few minutes this week at some point, drop by Apple Podcasts. We'd love a rating and a review. It would mean a lot to us. So thank you to everybody who's done that. And we'd sure appreciate it if you do it this week for us. All right, we're going to get out of here and let you get on with your Monday. Thanks for spending a few minutes with us. Hopefully we shared some memories and some smiles. And we'll be back again with more listener questions on Wednesday. So for Heather, I'm Mike, wishing you a great Monday. Time to get back to work, and we'll see you real soon. Heather just left. All of a sudden, I was by myself at a big screen. That's pretty funny. Hang on. EPISODE 1878. Oops. Toothache. There are no cheap patrons. You guys are awesome. I sure do appreciate it. I'm going to pay you guys back somehow. I love doing the show. All right, Alfred. I can never say it's Corwin of Amber. Corwin of Amber. I think I got it that time. Aaron, Jennifer, Julie, Fulton. Hope you're feeling better, Fulton. Time to edit. I will see you guys, the patrons. I'll have Mike in the Midwest tomorrow. All right. See you guys. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.